We now join Michael Karanja, who will give us an insight on smartphone penetration.
That's right, Najma Ismail. The craze around the world over the last few years has been mobile devices. And I'm now joined by a man who I quite rightfully say can be an authority in this field. He's a former Apple CEO and co-founder of Obi Mobile, John Sculley. Welcome to KTN.
Thank you, Michael.
Perhaps if you just start, what was the vision behind creating Obi Mobile devices?
We're at a very interesting moment because the smartphone has become an even more important product in the world for consumers than television. And in the emerging markets, particularly in Africa and the Middle East, smartphones are replacing feature phones, and smartphones are growing at 300% a year. So it's an amazingly good time to introduce true innovation into this industry as we go through the transformation. And Obi Mobiles is designed in Silicon Valley, the former team that worked with me at Apple. And we are bringing in the very best, most powerful technologies, but we're bringing them in at very aggressive price points.
I guess the key selling point for Obi Mobiles devices has been the selling point, and your target for a certain more affordable range of smartphones. So perhaps what's the thinking behind the pricing? I hear it's about between $100 and $200.
Exactly, and we believe that there are going to be about 2 billion new people joining the middle class over the next decade. Most of those people are going to be in the emerging markets. A very large percentage of them will be in Africa. And we think that this is the perfect time that over the next 36 months that the brands will be firmly established in the emerging markets that will go forward for probably the next 10 years. And so we're coming out with Obi with the best design, focused on design products, because we think these are really cultural products. They are an expression of one's personality. They're what's called fashion electronics, not just high technology.
All right, so John Sculley, perhaps if you look at it, over the last few years, the competition has been especially for devices, and every year we see Samsung, Apple, Oppo, Huawei, and the likes coming up with different devices. Now, how do you fit into that whole matrix of competition, especially for smartphones?
Well, last week I was in Barcelona at Mobile World Congress, and that's where everybody shows their new products for the year. And what's interesting is that all of those companies you named are targeting their design at $600 to $800 devices. Well, the majority of the people may aspire to those types of products, but they just don't have the personal budget that can be, well over a month or 2 months' wages for someone. So we said, let's bring the best quality of design, fit, finish, materials, with the highest quality technology, 3G, particularly 4G as we move into that now, but bring them at much more aggressive prices, the $100 to $200 US price points. And that's very possible because we're able to leverage the very large international supply chain and distribution business we have, over $1 billion in India and Southeast Asia, and another $1.4 billion in the North American continent. So we're taking advantage of some resources we have and the background we have in technology, particularly mobile devices, to be able to come in at this moment because we think it's a transformation moment.
I was looking at Kenya. Kenya is obviously the first country in East Africa that you're coming to. The focus for emerging markets, is that where you see the greatest, especially penetration for smartphones? Because I guess now the conversation has moved from desktop to mobile, more handheld devices, especially with mobile data.
Exactly. And what I believe is going to happen is if you take something like M-Pesa, which is a real innovation that came out of Kenya, but it began 10 years ago with feature phones. And so it was just a feature in and of itself. That's all feature phones could do. Well, now that we're moving into smartphones, particularly 4G LTE smartphones, M-Pesa can become a platform. And there's a chance to do innovation for mobile services on top of that. And so we're purposely designing our smartphones, our Obi Mobiles, to be well positioned for that opportunity here in Kenya. Kenya has been a place that has not gotten the priority from certainly the Western countries, and we think that it's time now for a Western design, in this case Silicon Valley design, to be able to come in and add something. You already have a Korean design with Samsung. You have Techno, which is a Chinese design. Well, we want to bring a Silicon Valley design to this market.
And just looking at that, obviously Techno and most recently I had Oppo is coming to the market. How are you positioning yourself, especially because now it's going to be a bit of a cutthroat competition, especially for getting something quality, a quality smartphone in your hand?
I believe that the reason why we're so optimistic is because the market is growing. If we were going into a market that didn't have growth, it would mean taking business away from a competitor. In a market that's growing at 300% a year, it's room for everybody to have some level of success. And yet if we waited another 3 or 4 years, it'd be too late. The market then would settle down. And so we think this is exactly the right time to be coming in with this type of a recipe, which is beautiful design, fit and finish, fashion electronics, but no compromises on the highest quality technology we can deliver at very, very affordable prices, particularly for young people, 15 to 25 years old.
I was looking at that bracket, brand slogan, whoever you are. What was behind that? Is it actually trying to get that person to aspire to actually have that kind of nice finished smartphone and not aspire to an Apple or just be a stepping or be a bridge to that new other phone?
Well, I think that many young people aspire to the most expensive phones that are available, but the reality is they don't have the budget. And so we said we understand the technology world well enough now to realize that the technology can be packaged in a very, very affordable design, if you're willing to take lower profit margins. And so we come in with our experience in Southeast Asia and India, particularly Vietnam, Bangladesh, countries like this, where we're used to thin profit margins, we're used to frugal expense models, and yet we also have our Silicon Valley heritage. And so we said that's a pretty good recipe because it gives us the ability to come in and be aggressive with pricing, at the same time not compromising on technology, because young people really know technology. They look at those features. They want to make sure that they're not giving up something by going to one of these aggressively priced products. And yet at the same time, we think that the lowest end of the market, which is largely one of the many thousands of Chinese factories that are selling products off the street, that's really not the part of the market we have any interest in, because there's no follow-up service support. What do you do when a screen breaks? You don't even know who those people are. So we're looking at that opportunity that's lower priced than the premium brands, no compromise on the design, far away from the street sold products.
All right, thank you very much. That has been John Sculley, co-founder of Obi Mobile, just telling us about Obi Mobile's entry into Kenya and how they're playing it at a lower price point by giving you, but still giving quality mobile phones in the market. Najma Ismail, what's happening at the Kenya Rugby Union?